This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
It seems that Nikki Haley is doing a lot of cleanup lately. After her Civil War gaffe, trying to play cute with the MAGA masses, not coming straight out and saying that the Civil War, the cause of the Civil War was slavery. She's now, in my estimation, doing cleanup, doing some kind of trying to get back, crawl her way, claw her way back into the good graces of MAGA world by saying, wait for it, she'd pardon Donald Trump. For the good of the nation, she'd pardon Donald Trump. Now, I find this ridiculous. I find this damaging. And I've even heard this line of thinking early on. I mean, before Donald Trump was even impeached, we had someone on the podcast, I Doubt It podcast, to talk about his removal, his potential removal. And this person, who was a liberal, worked with John Dean, said that, well, unless if it was just obstruction of justice, yeah, I don't think he should be removed. And I have a completely opposite opinion of that. I think that when you have great power, great responsibility, high office, a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, all the time, that comes with certain privileges. And you should be held to a higher standard of behavior and consequence when you enter into those types of offices, whether that be a member of Congress, a member of the United States Senate, and most certainly President of the United States of America, the leader of 1/3 of our government. So here's Nikki Haley promising MAGA world that she's going to let Donald Trump off the hook for his crimes if indeed she becomes president of the United States.
I would pardon Trump if he is found guilty. A leader needs to think about what's in the best interest of the country. What's in the best interest of the country is not to have an 80-year-old man sitting in jail that continues to divide our country. What's in the best interest of the country would be to pardon him so that we can move on as a country and no longer talk about him.
These are the same arguments that were made when Gerald Ford pardoned Nixon. For the good of the country, we need to move on. I'm going to pardon him and blah, 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 blah. When all that happened was a criminal was allowed to get off scot-free. The Republican Party likes to talk about tough on crime, law and order, until it's one of theirs. We don't need an 80-year-old man sitting in jail. How many 80-year-old men are sitting in jail right now? Are you going to let them out because of their age, Nikki Haley? Seems a little identity politics-esque, does it not? That in the best interest of who thinks, if you're sitting there today, right now, who thinks that the country is better off and it was just such an ointment for a wound on the country to pardon Richard Nixon? I wish I could see you. I'd say raise your hand if you think that. And my guess would be few hands would be raised. It wasn't for the good of the country. It was for the good of the Republican Party. It didn't help the country heal, that it was broadcast to the country and the world that there are two systems of justice in this country, that if you are rich and powerful and connected to power, you get off. You're allowed to commit your crime consequence-free. It doesn't help the country when that message is sent. What would help the country is we're on top of this. Even the President of the United States cannot commit crimes of this nature. A series of crimes. 91 alleged crimes across 4 indictments. You don't get off scot-free because you're the President of the United States. Whether you're the lowest American, by whatever scale that would be, or the highest American, we are all bound by the law. We are all bound by the Constitution of the United States. Justice, Lady Justice in the statues, wears a blindfold for a reason. To mete out justice, to mete out consequence, without knowing the status of the individual on trial. That's why the blindfold is there. I would love to hear this argument. For the good of the country, we're going to let X person that no one knows off. It's just for the good of the country. No, Absolutely not. And Nikki Haley, by every step that you make related to Donald Trump and trying to ingratiate yourself to the MAGA world, to the horde of the Donald Trump cult, you make yourself ineligible and incapable of being a leader in our country, certainly in the Republican Party, but overall as a nation as well. Again, the bench of talent for the Republican Party is real short, very small, not a lot of depth there. Their A team is the B or C team. Anyway, what do you think? I would love to know. Listen, this is not, for me, it's a done deal. It's a settled matter. I mean, I probably could be convinced if given a righteous, decent argument. But I know people do disagree about this. I'd love to hear from you and your argument if you do think it would be for the good of the country to pardon Donald Trump. You can call and share that with me, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can always email it as well, daily@dollemore.com. That would be fantastic. I'd love to hear from you. We can also have a conversation in the comments. One, it promotes dialogue, but secondly, it will help YouTube, it'll trigger YouTube to recommend this channel to new viewers who may want to participate in the conversation as well. If you are appreciative of my comments and my performance here of the job that I do, I would appreciate it if you would consider supporting my work and helping produce what we do here. Click the join button below, become a channel member, $2 a month, hit the super thanks button, go over to my Patreon page, patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. I appreciate you guys very much. All of the channel members out there, you guys are awesome. I love and appreciate every single one of you and your contribution to the work here, but also, being vested in what is best for our country. You are fantastic. I will see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.